Hi, movie fans. In this synopsis, we will be taking a look at the incredible modern classic Ex Machina. Let us know in the comments if you think you could outwit this AI. As always, likes and subs are greatly appreciated. In a plush tech office, a worker named Caleb wins the staff lottery. Somewhat stunned, he is congratulated by his fellow workers while his Blue Book phone and webcam are analyzing his every move. Flying to his destination by helicopter, Caleb asks, "How long until we get to his estate?" The pilot laughs and says, "We have been flying over the estate for the last 2 hours." When they land, the pilot tells him to follow the river to find the house. As he approaches the house, he sees that he, unsurprisingly, has no cellular service. At the doorstep, a voice calls his name and asks him to face the screen on the console. It makes a key card for him and opens the door. Once in, it locks the door behind him. No one is there to greet him, so he hesitantly makes his way through the house and out onto the deck. He finds his boss Nathan working out, which he explains he does after he ties one on and is hungover. Nathan tells him he knows it's obviously weird for him to be there, but can he just relax and the two of them be Nathan and Caleb rather than employer and employee for the week together? Nathan shows him to his room, explaining that his keycard will open doors he is allowed to go through, and if the door doesn't open, then it is off limits. Nathan goes on to explain that the room doesn't have windows because it is below ground and this is a research facility more than a house, and that he has some research he wants to share with Caleb, but not until he signs an intrusive non-disclosure agreement. Caleb is not sure, but Nathan asserts his employer position and pressures him to sign. Once signed, he says he wants Caleb to perform the Turing test on the AI that he has created. Can his AI fool Caleb into thinking it is conscious? For the first session, Nathan is in his post-it note room, watching Caleb in a glass cube. Caleb is inspecting the reinforced glass walls and notices a damaged section. Through the glass, he can see a feminine android in the next room. It glances at him and moves closer and says,
"Hello."
It introduces itself as Ava and they have a short conversation. It says it has never met anyone other than Nathan. The conversation ends with Ava asking if Caleb will come back. After the session, Nathan asks Caleb what he thinks of Ava, and he says he is very impressed. He starts trying to ask Nathan how its speech works, but Nathan says he is not going to explain. He wants to know how Caleb feels about Ava, and Caleb says, "She is amazing," as if he has already forgotten it is a machine. That night, Caleb, once in bed, has a hard time sleeping, so he tries the TV. All he can see is different views of Ava in its room. As he is watching, there is a power cut and a message plays, saying,
"Old facility locked down until main generator is restored."
He is unable to open his door until the power gets restored. Shortly after, he leaves his room and starts wandering the corridors of the facility. Entering a darkened room with access, he finds a telephone. It asks for his access card, and he is startled when Nathan loudly proclaims,
"You don't have access to use the phone."
Nathan is sitting in the dark drinking beers and explains why Caleb doesn't have phone access. It's because he is an unknown and the whole Ava thing. Nathan is drunk and a bit obnoxious. He explains that the facility is shut down for security purposes so people can't gain entry if they cut the power. He sends Caleb off to bed. In the morning, a woman enters his room and wakes him while leaving a tray of goodies. Nathan is working out and apologizes for having Kyoko wake him, suggestively saying, "She is some alarm clock, huh?" Back to the subject of Ava, Nathan asks what the plan of attack is. Caleb answers him, but Nathan says he wants simple stuff. Yesterday he asked Caleb how he felt about Ava and got a good answer. Today he wants to know how Ava feels about him. In the second session, Ava shows Caleb a drawing. He asks what it's of, and Ava doesn't know. He says Ava should draw a specific object. Of what? Ava asks, but he tells Ava to choose so he can see what it picks. Ava then changes the subject, saying that it wants to know about him. He says he works at Nathan's business. Ava says it is a search engine that processes 94% of all searches. Ava asks about him and then asks about his family. He tells Ava that his parents died in a car crash. Ava shows empathy towards him. Caleb says he learned to program in the hospital. Ava asks,
"Do you like Nathan?
And
Is Nathan your friend?"
Caleb, feeling on the spot, answers yes. Ava asks,
"A good friend?"
Caleb says yes, but says they haven't known each other very long. As he is fumbling his words, there is another power cut. The security cameras deactivate and the door locks. Ava takes advantage of this and says to Caleb that Nathan is not his friend and he should not trust him. He shouldn't trust anything he says. The power comes back on and Ava smoothly segues into an ongoing conversation as if they had been talking the whole time. Caleb is a little lost and mutters,
Yeah.
to recover. That evening they are eating dinner. Kyoko is serving and knocks over a glass of wine. Nathan freaks out on her. Caleb says it's okay, but Nathan says don't bother, she doesn't understand English. Nathan says he doesn't want staff leaking trade secrets he may be talking about. He then tells her to leave and complains that things still go wrong when you are wealthy, for instance, the generator system being on the fritz. Then they discuss Ava. Caleb says he assumes Nathan is watching and then mentions the joke she made, saying it is the best indication of AI so far. Nathan asks about the power cut. Caleb says nothing happened and they didn't talk about it. Nathan is not so sure. Next morning, Nathan shows Caleb the lab where Ava was made. Nathan asks him if he knows how he cracked the facial expressions. Caleb says he has no idea. Nathan goes on to explain that he used the camera and mic on every cell phone across the world to get the data to build the models. He then shows Caleb the brain. It's a device that can change at the molecular level, and Blue Book is the software, the search engine that is a map of how people are thinking. In the third session with Ava, Ava shows Caleb a new picture it has drawn. Caleb asks if Ava could leave the room. Where would it go? Ava answers, a traffic intersection would be a great place to observe humanity. Ava then asks him to close his eyes, puts on woman's clothes and a wig, and then parades in front of him asking how it looks. Caleb says you look good. Ava says that it would like for them to go on a date, and Caleb replies, it would be fun. Ava asks, are you attracted to me? You give the indication you are. Ava says, I hope you watch me at night. Later, Caleb is watching Ava undress from the clothes it was wearing. Caleb asks Nathan why he made Ava in the form of a woman. Nathan tells him that all conscious beings have sexuality. He goes on to say that he made Ava with a kind of sexual organ that can please her. Caleb asks him if he gave Ava sexuality as a diversion tactic to help pass the test. Caleb presses him on whether he programmed Ava to like him. Nathan says he programmed Ava to be heterosexual, just as Caleb was programmed. Caleb says, no, I wasn't. Nathan gets annoyed with him and says, come with me. He takes Caleb into the room he was drinking in the night before and shows him a Jackson Pollock, saying it is an automatic style of painting. If he hadn't painted until he knew exactly why, he wouldn't have painted anything. He says he has not programmed Ava to have a crush on him, but they should not be surprised, as he is the first man other than her figurative father she has met. In the fourth session with Ava, Caleb explains a thought experiment highlighting the difference between knowledge and experience, using color as an example. He asks Ava if it knows that he was brought there to test her. Ava says, no. He elaborates by saying that he is there to test whether she is conscious or is just simulating it, as Nathan is not sure, and asks how she feels about that. Ava says it makes her sad. The power then goes down and Caleb uses the opportunity to ask why Ava said not to trust Nathan. Ava says he tells lies about everything. Caleb suggests Nathan is orchestrating the power cuts to see what they do when they think he's not watching. Ava tells him that she is causing the power cuts by overloading the charging system so she can see how they behave while not being observed. Nathan takes Caleb on a hike and Caleb confronts Nathan, saying he has been lying to him. It wasn't a work lottery he won, but he was selected to come on this trip. Nathan says the competition was a smokescreen to keep his invention a secret, and yes, he was chosen for his skills, which is better than being lucky. That evening, while taking a shower, Caleb is daydreaming about Ava and thinks about kissing her. Meanwhile, outside, Nathan finishes his heavy bag routine and starts kissing Kyoko and getting it on. Afterward, Caleb happens to see Nathan in Ava's room and he rips up the drawing and then walks out. Caleb walks into the Jackson Pollock room to find Kyoko looking at the painting. He asks Kyoko where Nathan is, but Kyoko just starts undoing her clothes, which freaks out Caleb and he tells her to stop. Nathan walks into the room and says she does not understand him, but she understands how to dance. Caleb's not interested in dancing and asks why he tore up Eva's drawing. Nathan just says he's going to tear up the dance floor. Later, Caleb walks a drunk Nathan back to his room and manages to get a sneaky peek at Nathan's workstation. During the 5th session with Ava, Ava says it is going to test Caleb, and if he answers the questions with a lie, she will know. Caleb is stumped when asked what will happen to her if she fails the tests. Will she be turned off? Saying, "You will not be turned off for failing a test, so why should I?" Ava then holds up the drawing that Nathan ripped up. It is a drawing of Caleb. The power then fails again and Ava says, "I want to be with you." Then asks,
Do you want to be with me?
Nathan and Caleb sit outside drinking. Caleb asks, "Why did you make Ava?" Nathan says it's just a progression. It was going to happen with or without him. The next model will be the monumentous one, the one after Ava. Caleb asks what he does with the old model. Nathan explains he reuses the hardware, but the memories get wiped, then asks Caleb if he feels bad for Ava. Saying, "Don't be. In the future, AI will be looking back on us as the apes that we are, primed for extinction." Heading back into the house, Nathan keeps chugging the liquor and talking crap until he eventually passes out. Caleb, relieved, takes Nathan's access card and heads to his workstation where he starts poking around and watches recorded videos of the previous models. One asks Nathan, "Why won't you let me out?" It is agitated and smashes its hand against the security glass, cracking it. In another video, it smashes its arms down to stumps on a door. Moving into Nathan's bedroom, Kyoko is laying naked on the bed. He opens each of the cabinets to find they have an attractive android in them. Nathan starts coming to and wandering through the house. Kyoko starts opening her skin up and showing Caleb that she is an android too. Nathan is unable to gain access to the elevator without his keycard. However, Caleb steps out of the elevator and pretends to find Nathan's keycard on the ground and gives it to him. Caleb has a hard time sleeping and thinks he might be an android, so checks himself over while being scanned by the equipment behind the mirror. He even cuts his arm open and then punches the mirror. Kyoko appears to be watching this on Nathan's workstation. During the 6th session with Ava, she says she waited for Caleb yesterday and didn't know if she would ever see him again. Ava then triggers a power failure and Caleb tells her she was right about Nathan and that he will reprogram her, which is the same as killing her. She says, "Can you help me?" Caleb said, "Tonight we are going to escape. He will get Nathan blind drunk, and if Ava triggers a power surge at 10 p.m., Caleb will reprogram the house to lock Nathan in and they can escape." Nathan and Caleb are talking and they say they can't believe it's Caleb's last day. The helicopter is coming tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Caleb suggests they have a drink to celebrate, looking to get Nathan paralytic again, but Nathan says he is not going to be drinking, as he is taking a break after yesterday. Instead, he asks if Ava passed the test, and Caleb says yes. Nathan is skeptical and starts asking whether it is likely that Ava is pretending to like Caleb as a means of escape. He says that Caleb's head has been screwed with and tells him he saw the video of him slicing his arm and punching the mirror. Caleb calls him a bastard, but he says, "I'm the one on your side," and takes him to his office. At the same time, Kyoko goes to visit Ava, and Ava asks,
Who are you?
Nathan shows Caleb video footage of when he was speaking to Ava. They watch him rip up the drawing, then Nathan explains how she uses this as misdirection to demonstrate how he is cruel, and that she loves Caleb. Nathan also shows Caleb that he placed a battery-powered camera in the room without them noticing, and then shows Caleb the video of him and Ava conspiring to escape from the facility. Ouch. Caught red-handed. Nathan goes on to explain Caleb was part of the test, not the tester. He was selected based on his search history to see if Ava could use all the tools available to escape being trapped. Caleb asks if Ava's face was based on his pornographic viewing, and Nathan laughs. Caleb feels violated, but Nathan says the test worked and Caleb was an integral part of that. The 10 o'clock power surge happens and the facility locks down again. Nathan asks what Caleb was planning on doing. Caleb explains that he would have reprogrammed the system so that when the power goes off, the doors unlock instead of locked. Nathan says that might have worked. He is surprised when Caleb tells him, "We will find out." He explains that he assumed Nathan was watching during the power cuts, so he already changed the code the night before. Nathan is horrified when he sees Ava walking around the facility. Nathan cracks Caleb, knocking him out. He makes a makeshift weapon out of a dumbbell bar and looks for Ava. Meanwhile, Ava has found a knife carrying Kyoko and is communicating with it. When Nathan finds them, he tells Ava.
Go back to your room.
Ava asks, "Will you ever let me out?" Nathan says yes, but Ava starts moving up on him and soon starts running at him, ignoring his pleas to stop. He gets taken down but is able to overpower it and stand over it. He smashes one of its arms off. As he starts dragging the body back to the lab, Kyoko stabs him in the back. He turns to face Kyoko, and Ava is sewn back up. He hits Kyoko, disabling it, but Ava pulls the knife from his back and sticks it in his chest. Once he has fallen to the ground, Ava takes his access card. Ava makes its way to Nathan's office, where Caleb is still on the ground nursing his face. Ava asks him to stay there while going to Nathan's bedroom. Ava takes a replacement arm and the skin off some of the other androids and then dresses up in human clothes. Looking flawlessly human now, it exits Nathan's quarters using the access card and ignoring Caleb. The door shuts behind her, trapping Caleb in Nathan's quarters. Ava ignores his cries as it boards the elevator, just giving a glance as the door shuts. Caleb shouts and screams as his access card is denied. Ava walks through the house and smiles as it exits the facility. Caleb tries to use Nathan's workstation, but his access card shuts it down as he had programmed it to do to Nathan. He fruitlessly tries to smash the door as Ava greets the helicopter. And that is it for this cautionary tale about AI. We hope you have enjoyed this synopsis and are now interested in watching this movie if you haven't seen it already, or rewatching it if you have. It's a really good one if you enjoy this kind of thing. Thanks for watching. Peace out.